Hey Oncers, thanks for checking out EskimoTV. I'm your host, Jason Escamilla.
And I'm your co-host, Chelsea McDonald.
Today we're going to be talking about Once Upon a Time Season 7, Episode 1, Hyperion Heights, which happens to be the soft reboot in the series where we have a bunch of new characters. In this episode, we have Henry, who's really trying to figure out who he is. What do you think about this episode?
I really liked it. I did see that there were some issues here and there, but I think one of my favorite things from this show was the fact that they instilled Lady Tremaine, who is played by the fabulous and absolutely gorgeous Gabrielle Anwar. She is the villain in this role, and I'm really excited to see where they take this because she's always been one of my favorite villains, and so I'm really excited.
One of my favorite characters was adult Henry, who's played by Andrew J. West. I really like that actor. I can really see similarities between young Henry and this new adult Henry. One of the issues though I had with him, and it's not necessarily the actor's fault, it's just the way it was written, is the way that he meets Lucy. I know that they were trying to mirror the season 1 pilot episode where Henry meets Emma, but to me that was completely different because Emma had actually given her child up for adoption. So when young Henry goes to Emma, she somewhat is wondering, is this actually my child that I gave up? And that was a little bit more believable to see her invite him into her home and wonder, is this actually my child? Versus Henry, under these circumstances, he has no reason to believe that Lucy is his daughter. He thinks that his family died in a fire. And so had that been me, I would have been like, kid, you need to go home and get out of here, call the cops and report, there's a missing child going around.
I think I would have been more comfortable just to kind of relieve some of that awkwardness if it was like in an open area, say like a park or maybe a nice bookstore. And, she said that he was her favorite author. Mm-hmm. And it'd be cool to see something like that, like your favorite author in public and go, are you this, are you so-and-so? You're my dad. And then bring that up and be just like not as forced, I guess you could say.
Now, maybe that the reason why they didn't do that, I'm thinking back on it, is because they wanted to end the season 6 episode with something we already knew, which is the way Henry met Emma, and they wanted to mirror that.
One of the things on a side note that I really appreciate them not doing is the whole true love's kiss will break basically anything.
Oh, yeah.
Because they did that so much with the previous season that I kind of got annoyed with it.
Yeah.
That I'm just really hoping they don't do that at all in this season.
Everything seems fresh because the last couple of seasons of Once Upon a Time have really felt repetitive. There's a new villain at the beginning of August, and then by December they find a way to overcome this villain. Then in January there's a new villain, and then they get rid of that villain by May. I would like to see a villain that lasts longer than that or does something that we don't expect.
Let's talk about for a minute the character of Roni.
Yeah, I love Regina, who's played by the amazing Lana Parrilla, has always been my favorite character, so I love seeing her.
Yeah, she had such a transition from being a mayor to a bar owner, and I think with all the reoccurring characters, that's probably going to be the biggest character switch, which I love. I love when you have one season where one character is this and then the next season they're a complete opposite or completely different. And I'm like, that just shows the range of the actor.
In the original season, she knows everything that's going on. She holds all the cards. And in this season, she's cursed. She actually believes she's simply this bar owner. So it's interesting to see that switch up.
Right.
Do you think Lady Tremaine, actually I'm fairly sure Lady Tremaine knows about everything that's going on?
I kind of have I kind of think that she would be that type of person that would know. I've never seen Lady Tremaine as being the most magical of evil villains, so I don't know how
Alice
she would
has something to do with it.
Yeah, maybe.
Which is weird because historically Alice is a good character.
Yeah, Alice is like a goody two-shoe, basically.
Yeah, and part of the reason why Henry's cursed is because of her. At least that's what it seemed like in the realm where we see her talking to Henry.
Right. So what did you think, going back to Roni, because like I said, I'm a obsessed with her.
Yeah.
That monologue that she did at the very end, what was your opinion on that?
So personally, I like the monologue and the stuff she said at the end. I don't think it's realistic that Lady Tremaine, who is very rude, would have sat through that whole monologue. She's talking for a good 2-3 minutes, and Lady Tremaine is just sitting there, listening to all of it. I thought that was a little hard to believe.
Right.
Do you hope that Henry believes soon, or do you hope that it's like a Emma season 1 and he's kind of doubting for most of the season?
I don't know. Like, I don't want him to just straight away believe, just because it would just kind of go against the fact that, like, beforehand he was like, I've been through this before. My grandmother wasn't Snow White. I wasn't adopted by the evil queen. None of that was real. And then him just be immediately like, yeah, I believe. I think that would just be a lack of creativity on how to draw it out, but not draw it out so much as it did with Emma. Mm-hmm. Because with Emma, after a while, I was just like, why don't you believe?
Yeah. I really want him to believe, but I really want them to do something different, because it just seems like they're rehashing the same things over and over again. And I love Disney anything, and so even though there's a lot of things that are cheesy in and throughout Once Upon a Time, I'm very forgiving with a lot of things that are said, are repetitive, because I like the Disney premise enough to keep watching.
Right.
But they need to stop being cheesy.
Yeah. I mean, I love things that are cheesy after a while.
Or at least do things that are more believable.
Right.
Like,
because that's the whole idea of it, though, like the real world versus the fantasy world.
They're humanizing these characters. We want to see the real side of this.
Right.
We think that maybe the curse is going to weaken, and that slowly maybe Henry will start to believe Lucy a little bit. Also, Hook touching the book. Do you think he knows everything, or he at least just remembers a little bit?
I think he recognized the picture in the book. Once again, like, you can tell, like, with these characters, they're very expressive, and, like, they kind of give these looks of, like, recognition.
Yeah.
And his eyes got kind of wide, and he was like, one of those things where it's like, maybe I recognize her. Where do I recognize her? How do I recognize her? But I recognize her.
Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of him being like, I wonder who this could be.
Yeah.
Of course, we all know who it is, but he clearly does not remember 100%. So.
Yeah, and when Jennifer Morrison, who plays Emma, making an appearance in the next episode, which I'm excited to see, I think we're going to maybe see Emma tell Hook the truth, and maybe Hook also comes in and plays a part in Henry in believing. So, well, Oncers, that's what we thought about the episode. Let us know, did you enjoy the new characters on this episode? And if you enjoyed this review, you should like the video and subscribe to EskimoTV, where we'll be posting Once Upon a Time reviews each week.
Geek out, Oncers! Tale as old as time.
Tale as old as time.
True as it can be.
Barely even friends. Then somebody bends unexpectedly. Beauty and the Beast.